You blinked, and a year was gone. Summer felt like a long weekend. December arrived before you had finished thinking about October. You are not imagining it, and you are not alone. Almost every adult feels the same quiet acceleration, the sense that the calendar is being pulled forward by some invisible hand. But the real answer is far stranger than a busy schedule. The clock on your wall has not changed. The earth still turns at the same speed it turned when you were 6. The thing that sped up is you. Think back to being a child. A single summer could feel like a small lifetime. The walk to school stretched on forever. The wait for a birthday was almost unbearable. An ocean of days you had to cross one at a time. An afternoon could hold an entire universe. Now an entire year can pass and feel like that one childhood afternoon. So what happened? Where did all that slow, thick, endless time actually go? The first clue is older than you might expect. In 1877, a French philosopher named Paul Janet proposed something simple and a little haunting. He suggested that you measure each new stretch of time against the total amount of time you have already lived. When you are 2 years old, a single year is half of everything you have ever experienced. It is enormous. It is 50% of your entire existence. But when you are 50, that same year is just one part in 50. It is a thin slice of a very large pie. So the year has not shrunk. Your sense of it has. Each new year arrives as a smaller and smaller fraction of the life behind you. This is called the proportional theory, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Your 4th birthday and your 40th birthday are both just 1 year apart from the last, but they sit on completely different scales. That idea explains a lot, but it does not explain everything, because time does not only feel different across decades, it feels different across a single ordinary week. And to understand that, you have to look at how your brain actually builds the feeling of time in the first place. Here is the surprising part. You do not have a clock inside your head. There is no organ that ticks. Instead, your brain estimates how much time has passed by counting something else entirely. It counts memories. It counts new things. The American psychologist William James saw this clearly back in 1890, in his great work on the principles of psychology. He noticed that the years of youth feel long because they are crowded with first experiences. Your first day of school, your first friend, the first time you saw the sea, the first time your heart broke. James wrote that as you age, the days and weeks smooth themselves out into a kind of blur, and the years grow hollow and collapse. Why would that be? Because novelty is what your brain uses to mark time. A new experience lays down a rich, detailed memory. A familiar experience barely leaves a trace. Think about the very first time you drove a car. You remember it vividly. The grip of your hands, the fear, the strange new weight of the machine around you. Now think about your drive home yesterday. Can you remember a single second of it? Probably not. You have made that drive 1,000 times, and your brain stopped bothering to record it. This is the engine underneath the whole mystery. When you were young, almost everything was new, so your brain was writing memories constantly. Time felt full because it was full. As you get older, more and more of your life becomes routine. Same commute, same job, same faces, same meals. Your brain, seeing nothing new worth saving, quietly stops taking notes. And here is the twist that makes it feel like time is speeding up. You judge how long a period of time was by how many memories it contains. A week packed with new things feels long when you look back on it. A week of pure routine feels like it barely happened at all. The science writer Claudia Hammond gave this a name. She calls it the holiday paradox. Picture a week away somewhere you have never been. While you are there, the days feel rich and slow, stuffed with new sights and sounds. But the strange thing happens afterward. When you get home and look back, that week feels like it lasted a month, because your brain stored so many fresh memories from it. Now flip it around. A week at home doing the same things you always do feels normal while you live it. But look back a month later, and it has vanished. It left almost nothing behind. This is why a year of routine can evaporate. Your brain measured it not in days, but in memories, and there were hardly any to count. There is even evidence that your sense of a single minute changes with age. A psychologist named Peter Mangan ran a quietly brilliant experiment. He asked people of different ages to do one simple thing. Close your eyes and tell me when you think 3 minutes have passed. Just count it out in your own head. The young adults were remarkably accurate. They landed close to the real 3 minutes. But the older adults, the ones in their 60s and beyond, consistently waited too long. They thought 3 minutes had passed when nearly 4 had gone by. Their internal sense of time was running slow, which means the real world, the clock, was running fast in comparison. Time was slipping past them faster than their own minds could track. So the feeling is not a story you tell yourself. It is measurable. It shows up in the lab, in the counting, in the body. Part of that may come down to chemistry. As you age, the levels of certain brain chemicals shift, including dopamine, which is tied to how your internal sense of timing fires. When you are young, that internal beat runs quick and bright, and time feels slow against it. As the beat slows with age, the outside world seems to accelerate. You are, in a quiet biological sense, ticking more slowly than you used to. The neuroscientist David Eagleman has spent years studying this strange link between time and memory. He argues that the feeling of time is really the feeling of how densely your memory is being written. When something new and intense happens, your brain records it in high detail, and that density makes the moment feel stretched and slow. He even tested this by studying people in genuine freefall, in moments of fear, and found that the terror made them lay down memories so thickly that time seemed to dilate. It is not that you see in slow motion, it is that you remember in slow motion. And that is the secret hiding inside this whole mystery. Your sense of time is not really about the present at all. It is about memory. It is about how much your brain chose to keep. Which means the speed of your life is not fixed. It is something you have more control over than you think. If novelty is the currency of time, then a life of routine is a life spent cheaply, and a life of new experiences is a life that feels long and full. This is why childhood felt eternal. Not because the days were truly longer, but because you were soaked in newness from the moment you woke up. Every smell, every place, every feeling was being recorded for the first time. You were not living faster. You were simply paying attention to everything because everything demanded it. So what can you actually do? You cannot become a child again. You cannot make the world new by force. But you can break your routines and your brain will respond. Take a different road home. Learn something that makes you clumsy and slow. Go somewhere you have never been. Meet people who do not think the way you do. Every time you do, you hand your brain a reason to start recording again. Because the years do not really speed up. Your attention narrows. The newness fades. And a brain that has stopped being surprised simply stops keeping the receipts. The good news is that this works in both directions. The same brain that let a decade slip away can be coaxed back into wonder. A single trip, a single new skill, a single unfamiliar afternoon can swell in your memory until it outweighs months of ordinary life. You have felt it before. On the best days, you can still remember in detail. Those days were not longer on the clock. They were longer in you. So the next time you feel a year vanish, do not blame the calendar. The calendar is innocent. The clock is honest. What changed is how much of it you let yourself truly notice. You blinked and a year was gone. But the year was never the thing that moved. You were the one who stopped looking.